I stood at the altar in my mother's veil, holding a bouquet of white peonies, looking at the man I was supposed to spend my life with. And he was smiling at me, that big, easy, confident smile, the one that made me fall in love with him 4 years ago. He had no idea that the phone in my maid of honor's hand was about to play a video. His voice, his confession, every word recorded 46 hours earlier in our kitchen while he thought I was asleep. 212 guests were about to watch my fiancé's life fall apart in real time. And somewhere in Ohio, on a laptop screen, his other fiancé was watching too. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to Tuesday, 2 days before the wedding, and a casserole dish full of lasagna that blew up my entire life. His name was Grant. Grant Michael Alderson, 6'2", dark blonde hair, account executive at a logistics firm that had him traveling 3, sometimes 4 days a week. Charlotte, North Carolina, to various offices across the Southeast, or so he told me. We met at a friend's housewarming party in 2019. I'm Rachel. I was 26, working as a dental hygienist, and I was not looking for anything serious. But Grant had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in a room full of people. He remembered small things. The name of my childhood dog, that I liked, my coffee with oat milk, that I was scared of thunderstorms but wouldn't admit it. By month 3, he'd given me a key to his apartment. By month 8, we were living together. By year 2, I was certain, absolutely certain, that I'd found my person. He proposed on a Thursday night. No grand gesture. Just us on the couch, takeout containers on the coffee table, and him pulling a ring out of his jacket pocket like he'd been carrying it around for weeks, waiting for the right moment. I said yes before he finished the sentence. The wedding was set for October 14th, a Saturday. We booked a venue outside Charlotte, a renovated barn with string lights and a view of the Blue Ridge foothills. My mom cried when we did the tasting. His parents flew in from Michigan. Everything was perfect. Everything was a lie. But I didn't know that yet. Not until the lasagna. So here's what you need to know about Grant's ex-wife. About a year into our relationship, a woman named Diane started calling his phone. He told me she was his ex-wife from a short marriage in his early 20s. Said it lasted 11 months, ended badly, and she'd never gotten over it. He called her unstable. He said she'd show up at his old apartment unannounced, leave voicemails, send emails. He showed me a few of the messages, and yeah, they sounded intense. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He was my partner. I trusted him with my life. He got a restraining order, or at least, he told me he did. The calls slowed down. I forgot about Diane entirely. Then, Tuesday, October 12th, 48 hours before the wedding. I was at home, finalizing seating charts. Grant was supposedly at the office tying up loose ends before taking 2 weeks off for the honeymoon. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. A Columbus, Ohio area code. I almost didn't answer. But something I don't know, instinct, fate, dumb luck, made me pick up. It was Diane. She wasn't screaming. She wasn't ranting. Her voice was quiet, tired. She said, "Rachel, I know he told you I'm crazy. I know you probably think I'm a stalker, but I need you to hear me. Please, just 5 minutes." I should have hung up. Everything Grant told me said to hang up, but her voice didn't sound unstable. It sounded exhausted, like someone who had been trying to tell the truth for years, and no one would listen. So I listened, and she told me everything. She told me that she and Grant were never divorced. She told me they had 2 children, a 4-year-old boy named Lucas and a 2-year-old girl named Maisie. She told me he drove to Columbus every week, those business trips, and came home to a 3-bedroom house on Oakmont Drive where his mail was delivered, where his name was on the mortgage, where his daughter's bedroom had a mural of butterflies that he'd painted himself. She told me about the lasagna. See, Grant had this thing. Every Sunday night, no matter what, he made lasagna. It was our thing. He said his grandmother taught him the recipe. He'd roll the noodles, layer the ricotta, stand at the stove for 2 hours. I thought it was romantic. I thought it was ours. Diane told me he made the same lasagna every Sunday, same recipe, same story about his grandmother, same performance. That's when I knew she was telling the truth, because no stalker on earth could fake that detail, that small, stupid, devastating detail. I sat on my kitchen floor for 20 minutes after we hung up, not crying, not screaming, just recalculating. Every trip, every late night, every time he said, "I love you," was he saying it to her too? The same words? In the same voice? 4 years of my life. 4 years. And every single day of it was a timeshare. Here's what no one tells you about this kind of betrayal. It doesn't just break your heart. It breaks your mind. I couldn't trust a single memory. That vacation in Savannah, was he texting her the whole time? When he said he was in a meeting and couldn't talk, was he giving Lucas a bath? When he held my face and told me I was the best thing that ever happened to him, did he drive to Ohio the next morning and say the same thing to Diane? I went through his laptop that night while he slept. I found everything. 2 phone plans, a second bank account, school enrollment forms for a kid I didn't know existed. Photos, family photos in a hidden folder. Him at a kitchen table with 2 children on his lap, smiling. That same smile. The wedding was in 48 hours. The venue was paid for, the flowers were arranged. 212 people were coming. My dress was hanging on the back of the bedroom door. And the man sleeping next to me was a stranger. I had 2 choices. Cancel everything. Eat the deposits. Make the calls. Explain to my parents, to his parents, to everyone, and walk away humiliated, heartbroken, and out $30,000. Or I could let him walk into the trap he'd built for himself. I chose option 2. I called Diane back at 6 in the morning. Grant was in the shower, singing like a man without a care in the world. I told Diane what I wanted to do. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I'll help." Here's what we put together in 36 hours. First, I needed a confession. On camera. Something undeniable. So Wednesday night, the night before the wedding, I told Grant I was having cold feet. I said I needed to talk. I said I was worried about the future, about whether he was really committed, about whether there was anything he was keeping from me. I played it perfectly, vulnerable, soft, just enough doubt to make him want to reassure me. And Grant, confident, charming, stupid Grant, took the bait. He sat me down at the kitchen table. He held my hands. And because I asked the right questions in the right order, and because he was so used to lying that the truth never felt dangerous to him anymore, he admitted it, all of it. Diane, the kids, the house in Columbus, the second phone. He framed it as a mistake from his past that he was handling. He said he was going to leave Diane after our wedding. He said I was the one he really loved. He said the kids would be fine. My phone was recording in my bathrobe pocket the entire time. He actually thought we were having a breakthrough moment in our relationship. He slept like a baby that night. Second, I needed Diane to watch. She agreed to a live stream link. My maid of honor, Tessa, my best friend since middle school, the only person I told set up a private stream from her phone. Third, I needed my father. I told Dad everything Thursday morning. Just Dad. Mom would have crumbled. Dad. Dad went quiet. Then he went to the garage, got 2 suitcases, and started packing Grant's things. He put everything in the bed of his truck and covered it with a tarp. We were ready. October 14th, the day I was supposed to become Rachel Alderson. I did my hair, I did my makeup, I put on my mother's veil. I looked beautiful. I felt like a weapon. The ceremony was at 4 o'clock. The barn looked stunning. Golden light through the windows, mason jars with wildflowers. The string quartet playing Pachelbel. 212 people in white wooden chairs. Grant stood at the altar in a navy blue suit, looking like a man who'd gotten away with everything. His groomsmen flanked him. His parents sat in the front row, beaming. I walked down the aisle on my father's arm. Dad's jaw was set like concrete, but he smiled. He kissed my cheek at the end, squeezed my hand, whispered, "I'm right here." The officiant began. She talked about love, about trust, about the foundation of marriage. Every word was ironic. Every sentence landed like a hammer. Then came the vows. The officiant looked at Grant. "Grant, would you like to share your vows?" He pulled a piece of paper from his jacket. He started reading. Something about choosing me every day. Something about honesty. He actually said the word honesty and building a life together. My chest was on fire, but I held still. When he finished, the officiant turned to me. "Rachel?" I didn't pull out a piece of paper. I looked at Grant. I looked at 212 faces, and I said, "I wrote my vows 3 months ago, but I'd like to share something different today. Something Grant told me Wednesday night in our kitchen in his own words." Grant's face changed. Not all at once. It was like watching a screen buffer confusion, then a flicker of recognition, then the slow, horrible dawn of understanding. Tessa stepped forward with her phone connected to the portable speaker we'd set up for the reception playlist. She pressed play. Grant's voice filled that barn. "Yeah, I'm still with Diane. We have 2 kids, Lucas and Maisie. I've got a house in Columbus. I was going to deal with it after the wedding." The audio played for 93 seconds. That's all it took. 93 seconds to unmake a man in front of everyone he'd ever known. The barn went silent, not whisper silent, vacuum silent, the kind of silence that has weight. Grant's mother put her hand over her mouth. His father stood up and then sat back down, like his legs gave out. One of the groomsmen, his college roommate, Tyler, took a step away from him. Grant reached for me. Rachel, let me explain." "There's nothing to explain, Grant. You already explained it. Everyone just heard you." I turned and walked back up the aisle. My dad was already outside. When I stepped through those barn doors, I could see Dad's truck parked in the circular driveway with the tailgate down. Both suitcases sat on the gravel. Grant's golf clubs, his laptop bag, his coat. Dad had unloaded every single item Grant owned from our house and laid it out like a yard sale. And in Columbus, Ohio, on a laptop in a 3-bedroom house on Oakmont Drive, Diane and her mother watched the whole thing, live, in real time. She told me later that her 4-year-old asked why the man on the screen was crying. Grant stumbled out of the barn behind me. His tie was loosened. His face was the color of paste. He looked at his bags on the gravel, then at my father, then at me. I said one thing. "Your grandmother's lasagna recipe isn't even that good." Then I went inside, changed out of my dress, and ate wedding cake with my bridesmaids until midnight. People ask me if I regret it, if it was too much, if I should have just walked away quietly. No. He stole 4 years of my life. He stole them with a smile and a Sunday night lasagna and a voice that said, "You're the only one." He used my trust as a hiding place. He used Diane's love as a safety net. He used his own children as a secret. Quiet wasn't an option. Quiet is how people like Grant keep winning. I didn't destroy him. I just stopped hiding his truth for him. Diane filed for divorce the following week. Last I heard, she's doing great. The kids are in good hands. We're not friends, exactly, but we're something. 2 women who survived the same storm. And Grant is exactly where men like him always end up. Alone, on the gravel, with 2 suitcases and nobody to lie to. If you're watching this and something in your gut has been telling you that something doesn't add up, listen to it. Check, verify, ask the hard questions. Because the lasagna might be the same recipe, and the smile might be the same smile. But you deserve a love that doesn't come in shifts.